Hello and welcome to Somewhere in Liberia, right here on LIBWEB I'm Jeff Tarnue, your producer and presenter. Coming up today, a disabled center in Barclays Farm near Harbel in Margibi County receives a special guest from the United States of America. Keep tuned.
This is LIBWEB Radio, Liberia's #1 online radio station. 24/7 live.
The Revelation Baptist Disabled Center in Barclays Farm has received a guest from the United States of America. Mr. Samuel Dean is the Chief Executive Officer of the Florence A. Talbert and Disabled Advocate based in Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Dean visited the center over the weekend where he promised to provide vocational training in computer literacy and other aspects of life. In his special address to the disabled people, Mr. Dean said this center should be able to accommodate disabled persons. He also promised that he will be bringing in a supply of assorted assistive devices for all disabled people in the area, to include wheelchairs, crutches, and white canes.
I would like to appeal to our representatives and senators to establish a disability caucus, one that will champion the cause of persons with disabilities in the House. The last time I was talking with somebody from the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, and I was saying, my people are big, man. You need to help me with some money so I can carry a wheelchair to our brother then in the eating region. The people then living in purgatory. The people crawling. You know, the last time I saw you have fleet of cars here, over 1,000 cars. One of the cars then probably cost between $30,000 to $40,000. One wheelchair will not cost more than $200. And I say, y'all give me money to carry it. I say, y'all just help me to feed the people that I will carry, that will be presenting the chairs and all that thing. The woman I was talking to, the woman said, but you know, we didn't even get the money. We're talking to the government, we're talking to some representative for the representative to do something the poor people call budgetary allotment, to make the money plenty, so we can be able to help the people. But unfortunately, the representative didn't want for all to get them bribe before they can do it. So I tell them, I say, oh, so they can just come to us, sweet more, you know, so we can make them representative. Then when time comes, when they go there, we who were appointed them, they get down for all the state one for all the bribe them. So I appeal the representative and senator, whether prospective or incumbent, to try really champion the cause of persons with disability, because persons with disability in Liberia, we are suffering. We need houses. We need public houses. We are homeless. We are sick. We are hungry. We are beggars. We need education. We cannot even go to school because no way to ride our wheelchair. The expert crowd then, they can't ride the public transportation because nobody will stop for them first of all. And the public transportation is not designed in a way that it will be able to help. The Knights of Darkness or the blind people don't have proper sidewalk for them to be walking when they're walking to go to wherever they got to go. The last time one of my friends told me, say, one disabled guy, he fell down in a hole and he broke his leg because the sidewalk not good. So the people building roads, they lead all. The other car in the country for public transportation, they lead all. They building schools. They say, oh my God, they say they put my higher all. We tell the president, thank you for saying they put my higher all. That's a big thing she said. But Madam President, guess what? We don't have the qualification. We don't have the education. And the reason why we don't have the education, because they're not allowing us to go to school. They don't accord us the opportunity that we need, the assistive technologies, and the accessibilities that are required for us to be able to attain this qualification that you are talking about. But we say thank you anyway. We appreciate the gesture. You know, that's a big step in trying to realize the fact that disableism usually do exist in the Liberian community. Our next mission from the Florence A. Talbert and the Disabled Advocates is to educate disabled people to make them qualify to be ready for the job market. At first, our first ambition was to build a quality control wheelchair center so that the government can be able to buy this wheelchair and give it to the disabled people. But I decided to put that on the back burner. And let's talk about how we, the disabled people ourselves, can earn skill so that we can be able to take care of our family members in the future, especially computer skill. It's very important now in the world now. You can't do nothing without computer. And with disabled people, the deaf man can be office boy. The crippled man who can use a leg, he can use a finger. Even a one-hand man who can use the other hand, he can use the other hand. He can tap. He can go online, he can brush. He can scratch a farm. He can go online to find a way. Say he get money to buy expensive fertilizer, to find a way how he can fix his own cheap fertilizer. To find a way how he can fix his own thing that will kill the ants or the other roach, bug and thing from eating a plant. So that's why the computer school is good for.
The voice of Mr. Samuel Dean of the Florence A. Talbot and Disabled Advocates based in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, Mr. Dean also in a special interview gave his impression on the disabled community in Liberia since his arrival.
Well, my own impression about the disabled in Liberia is not a good one. Having stayed in the U.S. for about 15 years, I got to find out that the disabled in Liberia are not accorded all the rights, all the fundamental rights that they are entitled to, the rights that are enshrined in the Constitution of Liberia, and the rights that are enshrined in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, which Liberia is a signatory to, and the National Commission on Disabilities.
Do you have any link with the National Commission on Disabilities?
Well, the National Commission on Disabilities, I won't say that I have a link with the National Commission on Disability, but I must say that I'm sadly frustrated at the work of the National Commission on Disability.
In which way?
In my view, the National Commission on Disability are only prone to eternalizing two sections of the Act that established the National Commission on Disability. The sections are Section 1 and 7. Section 1 speaks about a disability ministry being run by disabled people, and Section 7 talk about budgetary allotment for the organization. Now, the President spoke to Section 4. We talk about 4% of 100 persons being disabled in the employment sector. Unfortunately, we have got to find out that hasn't been the case. That hasn't been internalized. Disabled people in Liberia are usually prone to community sanction stigma, and it seems as if our voice haven't been heard loud enough for us to stress this.
You spoke of disabled people being abandoned.
It's because the government, I won't like to say that the government are full of people who are disableist, but I would like to say that disableism is deeply rooted in the communities of Liberia, of which the government is a part of. The government know that disabled people need to be accorded viable social welfare programs like housing units, free medical health care, food, inclusive education, equal access to transportation, psychosocial counseling, and all the works that will really look at the National Commission of Disability to not be a hypocritical rhetorics, but rather something that the government has really envisioned for persons with disabilities. Well, our organization is targeting the 5 counties of the southeastern region, and that's Grandjide, River G, Sino, Maryland, and Grand Crew counties.
Well, tell me more about this organization of yours.
Well, our organization is called the Florence A. Talbot and the Disabled Advocates, alias FADA Inc. The name derived in remembrance of my maternal grandmother. She pioneered the cause of persons with disabilities. She was an administrator of what is known now as the Group of 77. It used to be called the Refuge Home, a property that was bought by the AME church. And they bought a lot of these properties all around the country through her. She even bought one in Todi, 100 acres, and there's another one that she bought for the AME church, that the AME church bought through her in Rossville, in Bond County, that was supposed to be an agriculture college for persons with disabilities. Unfortunately, the coup came in the 1980s, and she died too as a result of a disability, which was Alzheimer's. So I decided that her being a champion and a giant in the cause to eradicate disableism, I decided to name our organization in honor of her.
So how far have you gone with all of your endeavors in improving the lives of persons with disabilities?
Well, I would say we've gone at great length because since 2008 we've distributed close to 1,000 universal assistive devices. I give an example. We went to Lofa in 2010, where we took 25 pieces of wheelchairs, and another 50 pieces of crutches and walkers and quad canes, etc. And there was a disabled guy who was crawling on a bench, and we gave him a wheelchair, and this guy decided to take his bench, and he said, look, I'm not used to this thing, and it can let me down anything, but anytime. But let me use, what I'm used to, I'm accustomed to. So you can tell that was a great change in that guy's life, because he have never seen a wheelchair before, and we gave him a wheelchair, and that was the case for many Liberians all around the countries, at least the counties that we visited.
All right, you're now working with the Revelation Baptist Disabled Center. What are some of those plans that you have for this disabled center?
Well, some of the plans that I have for the disabled center is to empower the disabled through skill training, specifically computers, for the disabled who are literate, a little literate, at least have primary education and can read and write, and even other disables, not to discriminate, but other disabled who cannot read and write but have talents and have the propensity to learn trades will also be accorded the opportunity to explore their talents.
How financially potent are you?
Well, my organization is not very financially potent, because I'm still knocking on doors and steady looking for ways to improve our organization and the lives of persons with disabilities. But I can guarantee you that.
Are you getting somewhere?
Yeah, we're getting somewhere. We have a strong relationship with the NOCAL, the National Oil Company of Liberia, who is presently strongly sponsoring skill building for all Liberians, and that includes persons with disabilities. And I'm sure that if I can sell this project to them, they will be more than willing and ready to help.
You have any final word?
Well, my final word to Liberian people and the president is to really, when she's doing her appointment, especially when it comes to people who are handling the matters of persons with disability, for her to choose wisely, because a lot of times we always claim to want the best for the proliterates, but at the end of the day, when we get there, we are complacent, and satisfied with what we have, and that speaks to the National Commission on Disability. I think that the people at the National Commission on Disability are very incompetent. They're not exploring all the possibility there is to effectively represent disabled people in Liberia. So I think the president need to change them and employ people who are more qualified, or people who have the interests of the disabled people at heart and are willing to see that the disabled people move from a poverty and charity stage to people who are resourceful in a Liberia free of unproductivity and dormancy.
Mr. Samuel Dean. You're listening to Somewhere in Liberia on LIBWEB with me, Jeff Tarnue, your producer and presenter. Still to come, we bring you voices of disabled people who will be benefiting from all of these services, to be delivered by the Florence A. Talbot and Disabled Advocates. All things considered. Yes, on All Things Considered, nothing is either immune or untouchable. Join your host Lorenzo Cator and his guests as they discuss and dissect all things that are needed to be known and make sense to you. That's the program All Things Considered, the open door for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Right here on LIBWEBradio.com. Don't miss it. Listen to LIBWEBradio.com, the internet station of our time. Welcome back to Somewhere in Liberia with me, Jeff Tarnue, your producer and presenter. Now, some disabled people also give their own impression on the visit of Mr. Dean.
I'm Victor G. Saiwa.
Victor, what's your own impression about what is about to happen here in the lives of disabled people?
For what I just heard, for me, I in love with that. If only having to go on, I think we all benefit. I heard you talk about bringing computer to give up computer knowledge, and for me, I love that. I've been wishing to take part in that program because.
So you love being behind the computer?
Of course.
Browsing and serving everything.
Wherever I've been for late job, and that have been my problem. When I go nowhere, when I go to obviously yeah, but I'll be my high school graduate.
Okay, it's nice talking to you. You got any final word or maybe whatever message you have?
Oh, the only matter to tell up what I was not able to come back to be part of the program. Like when they listen to it, like on air, be able to turn up and we all can take part in anything and gain. to be better, to be good in this life tomorrow.
Thank you. Your name again?
I'm Peter G. Sagbe.
My name is Swakoli Yakawal.
Okay, Swakoli, you have a guest here today that brought you some of those good news that will soon be happening to your center. So how do you feel?
I feel fine because they coming opening day prayer, we coming learn prayer. All I think I have for.
So what are some of the trade you want to learn?
I want learn the way they can face soap. Iron soap, yellow soap, blue soap, and baby soap. Yeah, when I learn, I will do it better.
Thank you very much for talking to us, yeah?
Okay.
My name is Kema Kekwa.
Okay, Kema, you got this good news coming to you. How you feel now?
The town is so brown, I don't need to see. For the town was small, I thought was getting brown. For the town was getting bina, I can see you new idea today. I feel fine.
So what you want to learn when they come?
What I want to learn, I'm going to job on a to be any worker, or any Sonica will be Isa.
Okay, so you say what your name again?
Kema.
Voices of Disabled Persons of the Revelation Baptist Disabled Center in Barclays Farm near Harbel in Margibi County. Well, Reverend Thomas Yison is the pastor of the Revelation Baptist Church, the church that is undertaking said project for the disabled in the community. He spoke to me during a special interview.
We are called to minister in all shape and form, not just to preach the mere gospel or the word of God, but to minister to the total being of people. So this is one of the things I'm connected to disabled community to minister also to the disabled.
What has been your inspiration so far?
I want to be thankful to God. Since we started disabled ministry, we have been attracted to the disabled people. But it's not easy to work with the disabled because it's challenging.
How challenging it is?
Because anytime you want to work with the disabled people, they will look up to you instead of looking up to God. Sometimes they think that you should give to them. And if you fail to do that, sometimes they feel that, their hope being dashed. So that one of the challenges, financial support.
So you mean when they come, when you get around them, bringing them some of these program ideas, they always look up to you for money or for some financial assistance?
Yeah. Many times, the disabled people, because of the physical need, they forget the spiritual side. So I try to make them to understand that it is good to focus on the spiritual side, the word of God. And when you serve God and you believe in God, God want to provide. So many times, they don't have that insight and they always look at the physical and it can be challenging. First and almost we are looking at the lower end of the Mangibi and Mangibi a large. Then we're going to spring up. We have been networking with a couple of disabled guys in the lower part of Mangibi County. Right now we get about 35 persons that have been enlisted.
You have a special guest from the States today. Can you tell me how you got in contact with him?
Samuel Dean just arrived and he had been speaking to us how he got disabled. I got connected to Samuel Dean through my spiritual father because he knew that his nephew. So he told me Samuel Dean is already in the ministry of disability. So that's how I got connected. And as you heard, I think he said he get more than 5,000 wheelchairs in Monrovia. And he went to register people that need the wheelchair and white kings, people that need white kings and crutches. So this is one of the things that empowerment, my center is for empowerment, to empower people living with disability so they can become like able-bodied people, so that people can respect, they can dignify the disabled community.
He also talked about computer literacy for persons with disabilities.
I'm very impressed and glad that you are here. This is what we are thinking. We are not thinking about individual benefit, collective benefit. We work together as disabled people in the community so that tomorrow, when you know how to operate computer, someone, able-bodied man can hire you, even some of the honorable people can hire you in their offices, like Honorable Balazizi, Clarija, and even John Boye can take you. They will not, when they see this kind of certificate, they will not even, they'll respect you. You can see we have a building. Presently, we have a center. This place we have paid for 2 years. This is a beginning. This is a stepping stone. And if you are doing computer programming, you're not going to congregate everybody at the same time. You're going to schedule them. Maybe 15 students, 20 students can come at a certain time, and 20 students come, and we're going to accommodate, and we're going to get people coming here.
That is all depending on the amount of computers.
Yeah. It depends on that. And here can take, I think here, if properly arranged, it can take up to even 15 to 20 pieces of computer. You can see there's a modern building with window glasses, and we got 3 bedrooms here. Here we call it training hall or conference room. We could use this place as a conference room. So we are very happy, and I want to be thankful to God for my church. My church has grasped the vision to help the disabled community. So I'm appealing to anybody that get blind person, crippled person, or physically challenged people, allow them to come to the center so that they can acquire. And those that are not illiterate, we can even open training center like tailoring and soap making and other things.
The voice of Reverend Thomas Yesen. And that's it for this edition of Somewhere in Liberia, a program that comes your way on LIBWEB radio every week at about this time. Who knows what community we will be visiting next week? But now though, from me, Jeff Tarnue, and the rest of the crew here in Liberia, thanks for listening.